Hello everyone and welcome to A Kinda Krafty Kenzie. Whether you are new or returning, I am so excited that you are here. I have some adorable spring DIYs for y'all today, so let's go. First up, we are going to take some of these square wood planks from the Dollar Tree. I'm obsessed with these. They come in rectangular shape and square, and I use them both a lot. So I always try to stay stocked up on them. I'm just going to take some of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory, and I am going to give these a one coat of front and back. You guys, I cannot say enough how obsessed with my Chandler Hika I am. I got it from Amazon and it was like one of the best purchases I ever made. I'm a busy mama of 3 and I literally do not have time for paint to dry. So I use it all the time, and just like with everything else that I get from Amazon, it's always linked in my description box below. So and now you see me distressing the edges of these planks with some of that Waverly wax in the color Antique. And you can wipe this right off if you want to, and it lightens it up, but sometimes I choose not to, and I chose not to this time. So now I'm going to take some of these little ornament bunnies from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and fill their little holes in their ears in with some spackling, because I am not using these as ornaments. That's what they're actually intended to be used for, but just like with everything else at the Dollar Tree, I don't know if I ever really use anything the way it is intended to be used for. But now I'm going to go ahead and give it one coat of the ballet slipper Waverly chalk paint. Oh, and I also had a question. I don't have a question. I had a question. I'm going to answer your question. There we go. I had a few people ask what I use to fill in those little holes. Sometimes I use spackling, sometimes I use wood filler. It is literally whatever I grab. They both work great, so whatever. But here, you guys, this is what we call a blonde moment. So I am making a little planter box, and right when I was getting ready to assemble my planter box, I realized, oh, you don't have a bottom to your box. Duh. So here I am painting yet another plank in the ivory, and then I go ahead and distress it in the antique wax. Now, when I started distressing it, this last plank, I was like, okay, I'm going to just run it through a little bit and see if I like it. Yep, I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with the rest of them. I first intended to only do the edges, but you know, I always change courses. It's just how I roll. So then I went ahead and assembled my box. You guys, this is embarrassing. I had such a struggle with this box. I don't know what was going on. It did not fit perfect. I mean, come on, it's Dollar Tree product for one. So I'm going to go ahead and say these planks aren't all the same size. We're going to go with that to help me out a little bit. But really, I think it's just my building skills. But in the end, it's cute and you can't see this mess inside. So as you can see, I did use tumbling tower blocks to kind of use that as like a little bit of a brace to help my planks stand up. It worked. Okay, it worked. You know, when you craft or, you know, when you're creative, sometimes the behind the scenes are, you know, you're not supposed to see that. It's like what happens behind the curtain at the show. Yeah. Anyways, I glued my bunnies down on the box, as you can see, and then I took some of these little pieces from that brain teaser game. You could use those little cube blocks you can also get from the Dollar Tree. They come in like a pack of 30 couple. I use those too, but these were already painted and they match, so worked for me. So now I just put some floral foam down inside my planter box. I do end up gluing it in here in a second. You'll see that. But here I'm just taking some of these pieces off of one of these really pretty floral picks from the Dollar Tree, and I just chose what I wanted. I chose some greenery and some flowers, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of moss on top of this foam, and then I'm going to add my florals. And it's so pretty in the end. But you guys will have to let me know what you think down in the comments below. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Today's video is a super special one for me. It is my first ever collaboration here on YouTube with another YouTube DIYer. So I am 100% super excited, honored, and just plain out flattered to be collabing with Sarah from Pajama Crafts. If y'all have not already seen her channel, you need to get over there ASAP and check her DIYs out. They are 100% on point. She is right up the same alley as me with the shabby chic, farmhouse, seasonal, Dollar Tree, etc. Her things are so adorable, and she is such a big inspiration to me. I've had the pleasure of getting to know her over the past couple weeks and now consider her a friend. So Sarah, thank you so much for today's collab. And if you're coming over from Sarah's channel or you're new to my channel, period, hello and welcome. My name is Mackenzie, aka Kenzie. I am a stay-at-home wife and mama to 3 little girls, and I love everything to do with DIY, home decor, turning trash to treasure, crafting, you know, all of the above. So if you like things like that, you're in the right place. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around to see what all I come up with. Now let's get back into crafting. Next up, I'm just going to use these 2 terracotta pots from the Dollar Tree, and I gave them each 1 good coat of that ivory color chalk paint by Waverly. I don't care for the color of these, but I do like to work with them, although I cannot stand the texture of them. Show of hands, who is with me? It makes me cringe to touch them, gives me goosey bumps, and I just absolutely hate it. But they are super easy to paint all over, and the chalk paint covers them really well. So I guess I just deal with it. But anyways, after I'm done crafting with them, I don't have to touch them again. So I'm going to piece these together. So I used my E6000 and the hot glue method for longevity and right now. And then I just went ahead and glued them together. Don't worry, we are going to cover that mess of glue up there in the middle. I wanted to just wrap some twine around it, but my OCD got a hold of me again, and I could not handle just doing like the messy wraparound twine vision that I had in my head, mostly because I was trying to cover up where that glue had came out, because I don't have control of glue and I like to over glue. I'm pretty sure there's a support group for that, but so I did go ahead and just wrap them thickly with the twine, thinking maybe I would like it at the end, and I still didn't. So then I came in with some of this ribbon with lace on it. This is from Amazon. It's really similar to the kind they have at Dollar Tree, just like smaller. And I just went ahead and attached it over top of that twine. Obviously, I wouldn't have used the twine if I knew it wasn't going to work, because I kind of did like double the work, but oh well, I guess it'll just hold these pots together really well now. So I just went ahead and attached that to the pot. To cover up that seam, I grabbed one of these cute little burlap flowers that also came in that pack with that same ribbon I just used, and I just glued it right on top of there. So this is kind of shabby chic, kind of farmhouse, kind of limited both, which is totally my style these days. And I'm just grabbing some of this boxwood from Walmart, there we go, and the white flowers are, I don't know, something from Dollar Tree, and there you go, it is all done. Now you guys have probably seen these pieced together the other way, but I like to go rogue and I did it this way, and I think this is kind of cute, but let me know what y'all think down below. For this next DIY, I'm just going to take some of these like little directional signs that they use for a wedding, I guess in case you get lost at the ceremony or something. Now, I got these from Dollar Tree back in the fall, but I'm pretty sure they have these all year round. But I'm just piecing them together like so. As you can see, I'm just attaching them with some craft sticks from Walmart, like the larger ones. And I'm making a little picket fence. Now, the words on the front are not glittery, but I was just so nervous they were going to come through my paint because I've had that happen before. So I thought I would go ahead and sand them. I don't really know if that did anything, because then I remembered one of you sweet subscribers gave me the advice to always use like black as like my base coat. And so I wouldn't have to use like so many coats of white or like a lighter color, you know, to do 2 coats. So if you use black, you only have to do 1 coat. And I was like, well, let's try it. You know, might as well. This would be the perfect time, because I want to make sure I cover up those letters. Because, like, don't think I'm painting my white picket fence black, because that's, like, morbid. But, so I thought my black paint was nice and dry. I thought everything was great. I let it air dry under a fan. It felt dry. So I started to paint over it with my white Waverly chalk paint. And then about this moment, I'm like, what? The black was coming back through. So I just kept going. Most people would have stopped and let the paint dry, but no, I just kept going. But you guys, magic happened. And then they say there's like, what's that? What do they say? It's like good mistakes or something. I don't know. Anyways, as you can see, the fence started to like distress itself. The more I painted, the more the black mixed in through with the white chalk paint. And yeah, I dig it. And then when I took the heat gun to it, it cracked. So most people would have been like, uh-oh. I was like, yes, please. So I was very, very thrilled with the way it looked. It definitely looked distressed and aged. And I didn't even have to sand or anything, so I like it. Then this is what I call the risky kind of stenciling, where I don't trace the letters with a pencil or anything. I just go for it with a stencil brush and paint. And as you can see, it worked out really well. The only thing I recommend is that you wipe your stencil in between letters. That's what I did, and now that is why my table is black in the right hand corner. But as you can see, I did get a little bit of black off of the stencil here and there around the letter, so I just went over it with a little bit of the white. And then when I did that, I decided to lighten up some of the other spots on the fence while I was doing that, and I really liked the way it looked. Now I'm going to take some of these wildflower floral picks from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted all the flower, but I didn't want all the greenery, so I did just go ahead and remove some of those little green leaves, and then I just pieced them together the way I thought they looked good, and then I just wrapped some twine around them and made like a pretty little bouquet. And then I'm just going to go ahead and attach this to my little spring fence.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes.
As I was placing my bouquet down onto my little fence, I noticed a little bit of a gap, and I thought that I could just add in a little bit more greenery. So I went ahead and glued down the little greenery piece onto the fence, and then I put my bouquet like over top of it, you know, and blended it into where it looked like it was still attached to the rest of the floral picks. Then I just went ahead and attached the entire bouquet to the little fence sign, and now I am just making one of my twine bows where I just wrap twine around my hand a whole bunch of times and then just kind of cinch it together in the middle, tie some twine around it, and then just trim up my tails. I always end up with double tails because I leave where I tie it attached as well, because I just like all those little tails. I think they're really cute. So then I just attach this on top of that little twine spot on my bouquet. Now you can see that little spot of glue where I added that greenery to the fence, and of course I didn't like that. So now I'm just going to insert a little bit of a yellow floral, just kind of tuck it down in there with just a little bit of hot glue and kind of just work it in there, and then that's all set. So I really thought that turned out really nice. I don't know if I want to hang this or if I want to just maybe place it somewhere. So I just attached a couple pieces of twine on the back with some hot glue. That way if I wanted to hang it, I could. And then you won't see the hanger above the fence because I definitely did not want like a visible hanger. But I think this turned out really, really cute. And for like an accident with the paint, I love it. If you aren't already following me over on Instagram, you can head over there and give me a follow. I try to post more personal things over there, family-oriented things, along with sneak peeks, behind the scenes, and like upcoming things that are happening. I'm not the best keeping up with my social media feeds, but I am getting better. So go ahead over there and follow me, and I'm also over on Facebook. Both links are in my description box and in my bio. For my next project, I'm just going to use these two crate boxes from the Dollar Tree. You guys already know that I have used these multiple times. I think they are so adorable to use. And another obsession of mine is this celery color chalk paint by Waverly. It is my new favorite green. I am in love with it, especially for spring. I just want to use it all the time, and I'm not even a fan of green, so that's what is so surprising, but I just love it. So I just went ahead and gave these crates one coat of this beautiful green color. Then I dug deep in my stash and pulled out this old Halloween sign. I really, really love the way that it is shaped. And I went ahead and filled in those holes with wood filler. and then sanded them down and they were dry. And then I'm just going to give this sign 2 good coats of the Waverly white chalk paints.
Break me, no, no, nothing can break me.
I am so excited to get to use another windmill. I DIY'd with one of these in another project, but I actually didn't do a whole lot to it. So I will link that video below. This one I really DIY after I get done, tearing it apart. I really did not know how to get this apart other than to just, kind of go Hulk on it. So I just grabbed a pair of pliers and just went to town. And I got it to work. I completely got it disassembled. That came off, but I think it has to get it apart. And then I just glued it right back on. So there you go. All better. So now I am just going to make my windmill look old. I don't know if you would call this galvanizing or if you would call it making it look rusty. I don't know. I'm going to make it look old, like it's been out for like a really long time. So I'm just taking some of the Elephant Color Waverly chalk paint, and I am using one of my stencil brushes, and I'm just doing like that up and down dabbing motion. As you can see, I like to do this because it leaves texture behind, and you don't want it to be like smooth. At least I don't. Then I went in with some white and did the same exact thing. As you can see, just dab, dab, dab. And again, the more you build on top of your paint like this, you get more of a texture, and it looks really cool in the end. Then I went in with some just black chalk paint and did the same exact thing. I don't go quite as heavy with the black, but you see what's happening. Then I did use my heat gun in between every coat, you guys. That's how these paints aren't blending together. And I didn't show that though because, you guys know how to work a heat gun. And then I just did the same thing. Went back in with gray, then dried it, came back in with a little bit more white, dried it, and then came back in with some more black. And I did this quite a few times just because that is how I build it up until I really like the way it looks. And then when I'm satisfied, I went back in with some gray to just tone down some of that brightness again. And then I think I was pretty happy with the way it looked. So then I came in with some antique wax, went around the edges of the windmill blades just like that. And now we're going to make it look rusty. Like, it's been out in the weather for a really long time. So you want to make sure you get around the edges of the blades, around the wheel part, and then of course like there in the middle where everything comes together, as you can see. So I really love the way it looks in the end, but to each their own. I'm sure you might have a way you like to distress your windmills or make galvanized looks, but I like that. Anyways, then I went around my white sign. I just went around the edges when I distressed it, but I went ahead with some Waverly wax. I was really waxing it up this day, and then I set that aside to dry. Now I'm just going to piece my crates together, as you can see, and then I'm now going to just attach them to my sign with some hot glue, and now we've just made a little planter. I think it's so cute. I took some more of that Waverly wax and I just went ahead and distressed my little crates along the edges and like on the corners and on the top. Then I just slid some floral foam down into my little crates. And you guys, this is my first time getting my hands on the reindeer moss, and now I know what all the hype was about. This is hands down my favorite moss ever. It is such a pretty color. I love the texture. It's nice and soft. I'm obsessed. I love it, love it, love it, and I want some more of it. I hope I can find it again, but you know how it is at the Dollar Tree. So now I need to attach my windmill to my sign, and we all know that hot glue and metal are not friends. They will not hang out together, so I used some E6000 as well, more so for like the long-term hold or, the whole period. And then I did use some hot glue hoping that it would adhere it enough that I could finish the project. So I went ahead and attached it down onto the sign, and when I did, you guys probably see that little bloop of glue that came out, and that is the only part of this project that I absolutely hate. I could not get that glue off of there for the life of me. But to make sure that this kind of held together, and because I used E6000, I did use these clamps that my husband picked up for me at Harbor Freight, and I just left them clamped like this overnight. I wasn't able to clamp all of the windmills, you know what I mean, the blades, because the they're not very big clamps and they wouldn't reach them all, but it held, you guys. It worked. Anyways, then I just took some lavender from a pick from Walmart, and I just went ahead and put like little pieces in here and there, and I think that turned out really pretty, but you're gonna have to wait to the end to see it. So now we're moving on to the next one, and I'm just taking this Easter sign from the Dollar Tree, and I was jiggling it, you guys, because these googly eyes on this bunny absolutely cracked me up. I don't even know. I don't know. I found it very funny. So then I used my wood filler and filled in the holes because I just flipped it over after I removed all of the stuff off the sign. I did keep those little feet because I could use those, but the googly eyes gotta go. And I just gave this 2 coats of the white wax, or the white chalk paint. Now I'm using the wax, and I'm just very lightly distressing over the sign. I went around the edges a little bit heavier, but I wanted to go very light, like through the face of the sign. I didn't want it to be like super duper dark. I wanted to keep it pretty light. Then I took this pack of stencils, you guys. I got this from Walmart. My husband grabbed it for me. He thought I would like it. You get so many stencils, and it was like it might have been $20, but I absolutely love it. And it's like Farmhouse, and well, you saw what was on there, and it's by Plaid. Plaid makes amazing things. I really, really love this pack of stencils though. They are kind of, I don't want to say they're paper, but I would not recommend painting over them, so that's why I traced it out with a pencil, and then I went ahead over top of it with a thin paint marker, but then I did have to come in with my like thicker point paint marker to fill it in, or I would still be there coloring these in with this little fine point paint marker.
Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive.
I have a DIY video where I had made Easter tree ornaments. That is why I already have these little carrots completed. So I will link that below or up in the cards for you guys, and you guys can go ahead and check that video out as well. But it is really nice when you're making something and you can like recycle something from another project. It kind of saves on some time and work. But all I did was just remove like the little jute hanger that I had used to hang them with. So now I am using my fake knot method. Basically, this means I am too lazy to drill a hole in this to pull rope through it and tie a knot, but I want that like little front knot look to make it look nice and rustic. So that is what I do. I just tie a knot, cut it, and then glue it to the sign. So then I wanted to make the letters pop. I wanted to write that my carrots cost 15 cents. As you can see, I couldn't spell, and I had to move the A and bring the E in, and it's all better. I started out with a paint marker, but saw that was going to take the rest of my life, so I went ahead and switched over to just some black chalk paint and painted those really quickly. Then my aunt taught me to go ahead and fray the end, or unbraid the end of your nautical rope, because it adheres to your sign better, and you have better like hold instead of like a big hunk of rope. So I did that. So thank you, Aunt Shelly. You're the best. And as you guys can see, I still can't spell. And I was selling my carrots for 15 cents instead of cents. So I went ahead and painted an S, got it dry, and now we are just going to attach 15 cents to the sign, because we do speak proper English here. So after I did that, I decided that I wanted to distress my letters a little bit. So I went over them with some white chalk paint very lightly. And then I did the same thing to the stenciled letters because they needed to be cohesive. So I thought this was really pretty. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I like this a lot more than sanding my arm off to get that same effect. So I'm glad I thunked this up. But this is it, you guys. And are you ready for the final reveal? Because I know I am.
So Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars, I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me.
I want to thank you guys for coming along with me today. I had such a blast creating these DIYs. I think they turned out really adorable. Some of them gave me a little bit of a challenge here and there, but that is what keeps us humble and creative. Also, do not forget to go over and check out Sarah with Pajama Crafts, a channel. Make sure you tell her I sent you. You will not regret it, I promise. Let me know which project today was your favorite, and I will see you guys very, very soon for some more DIYs. Bye.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes.